was still smiling, but something behind the smile had shifted. It started the way these mornings always start. Meghan didn't feel at home. When Kelly made a gentle joke about California living, Meghan's expression cooled. When Mark offered an easy setup about married life, the kind of softball this show was famous for, Meghan deflected with something that made the studio audience shift in their seats. Then Kelly asked about balance. What Meghan said made Kelly's smile falter. What Kelly said back made the audience gasp. And what happened in the final 5 minutes would be replayed on every entertainment program before the day was over. This is the interview that shocked daytime television. Subscribe now, hit that notification bell, and let's see what happened. The Live with Kelly and Mark studio had its usual morning energy. The engaged audience ready for entertainment, the bright set designed to feel welcoming, the atmosphere of a show that had been America's morning companion for decades. Kelly Ripa had been doing this since 2001. Mark Consuelos had joined as permanent co-host in 2023. Together, they'd turned their real marriage into television magic. Meghan arrived with an entourage that seemed excessive for a morning talk show. Publicist, handler, someone whose job appeared to be monitoring the energy. She walked onto the set with practiced grace, embraced both hosts, settled into the guest chair with careful attention to camera angles. "Meghan, welcome to Live." "Kelly, Mark, thank you for having me. We're so excited. Let's have some fun." The cameras went live. The audience applauded. Everything seemed normal. It wouldn't stay that way. So Kelly began with characteristic warmth. "You and Harry have been married for, 8 years now? Mark and I have been married for almost 30. What's the secret? How do you keep it working?" Meghan's smile was technically present, but emotionally distant. "We prioritize each other." "Prioritize how? Because Mark and I fight about whose turn it is to take out the garbage. What do you fight about?" A pause. Brief, but notable. "We don't really fight." Kelly laughed. "You don't fight? After 8 years? With 2 kids? Mark, should I be concerned?" Mark shook his head. "Every couple fights. Even us. Especially us." "We have disagreements," Meghan clarified, "but we resolve them quickly." "Resolve them how? Because my resolution usually involves Mark sleeping on the couch and then buying me something expensive. What's yours?" "We communicate." Communicate. That's very diplomatic. In 23 years of doing this show, every couple that says they don't fight turns out to be either lying or in trouble. Which are you? The audience had gone quiet. "Let me try something different," Kelly said, attempting to reset. "The kids, Archie and Lilibet, what are they into right now? Every mom I know can't stop talking about whatever obsession is driving them crazy this week. They have varied interests. Varied interests. Mark, what are our kids into?" Mark jumped in. "Michael's still obsessed with that video game I can't pronounce. Lola won't stop talking about her podcast. Joaquin changes his thing every week. Right now it's some obscure musician nobody's heard of." Kelly turned back to Meghan. "See? Specifics. What's Archie's thing?" "He enjoys many activities." "Many activities he's too private to name? You've shared your children in Netflix documentaries, in professional photo shoots, in anniversary videos. The privacy seems selective. What's his actual obsession?" "I protect certain details." "Details like what a 7-year-old likes to do for fun? That's not protection. That's deflection. Every mom knows her kid's current obsession. It's usually annoying and all-consuming. What's his?" Silence stretched. "The silence tells me something. Either you don't know, or you're so controlled that even a simple mom question becomes strategic. Neither is great." "The Met Gala," Kelly said, shifting terrain. "Fashion's biggest night. You haven't been invited. Ever. Not during Suits, not as a royal, not now. What's the deal?" Meghan stiffened visibly. "I had other commitments." "For 7 consecutive years? On the same night? That's either remarkable scheduling or remarkable excuse-making." Mark tried to intervene. "The Met Gala is tricky. Not everyone gets invited." Everyone in her position gets invited, Kelly countered. Every A-list celebrity, every royal, every fashion figure, she's somehow never been on the list. That's not coincidence. That's intention. I have no interest in the Met Gala, Meghan said coolly. No interest in fashion's biggest platform? You, who launched a lifestyle brand? Who positions yourself as a style icon? Who did that British Vogue cover? My priorities evolved. Evolved after 7 years of not being invited. That's rationalization, not evolution. When you can't get something, suddenly not wanting it is convenient. Meghan grabbed her water. Her hand was trembling slightly. The Geneva trip, Kelly continued. Digital safety. Warning parents about the dangers of posting children online. Hours before that speech, you posted Lilibet on Instagram. Help me understand how those two things fit together. That situation was mischaracterized. How? You posted your child, then you warned about posting children. I'm not mischaracterizing. I'm describing chronology. Mark tried again. Context can matter. What context? Kelly turned to him. What context makes do as I say, not as I do acceptable? I've been a public mom for decades. When I talk about parenting, I try to practice what I preach. Posting your kid hours before warning about posting kids is textbook hypocrisy. I was sharing a joyful moment, Meghan said defensively. A joyful moment you then told other parents not to share. Your joy is fine. Theirs is dangerous. That's not advocacy. That's exceptionalism. You're twisting everything. I'm applying your own words. If that feels like twisting, maybe examine the words. The foundation, Kelly said. Archwell. You've been running it for, 5 years now? What's it actually accomplished? We've created meaningful partnerships across multiple sectors. Partnerships toward what outcome? I've supported charities for years. I know what real impact looks like. When I look at Archwell, I see beautiful language, but no concrete results. Impact isn't always visible. Impact that isn't visible is indistinguishable from impact that doesn't exist. Name one thing that changed because Archwell exists. Cultural conversations have shifted. Conversations. Not policies, not programs, not lives. Conversations. I can have conversations in my kitchen. What's the actual difference your foundation has made? Meghan stood up partially. This interview has become hostile. This interview has become specific. You're confusing the two. Mark stood up as well, trying to ease tension. Maybe we should take a breath. No, Meghan said sharply. I came here expecting a friendly conversation. This has been interrogation. Kelly remained seated, completely calm. Interrogation would be accusations. What I've done is ask about your children. You couldn't tell me what they like. Ask about your foundation. You couldn't name any results. Ask about the Met Gala. You blamed your schedule. These are the softest possible questions. If they feel like interrogation, examine what you're protecting. I'm protecting my privacy. Privacy you violated repeatedly when it served your narrative. You published intimate details about your family. You released documentary footage of your home. You shared children's moments when they promoted your image. The privacy you're claiming doesn't exist. You just want to control which exposures count. Mark put a hand on Kelly's arm. Kel, I'm not done. Kelly stood now. In 23 years of doing this show, I've had guests going through divorces, guests with dying family members, guests in the worst moments of their lives. They all managed to be human, to share something real, to answer simple questions with actual answers. You can't. And that tells me something. Meghan grabbed her purse. What does it tell you? It tells me there's nothing underneath the brand. When I ask about your kids, you give me categories. When I ask about your work, you give me generalities. When I ask about anything personal, you give me deflection. Every question hits a wall, not a person, a wall. I am a person who can't access a single specific moment with her children, a person who can't name a single accomplishment of her foundation, A person who can't acknowledge a single mistake or doubt or moment of genuine vulnerability. What kind of person is that? Mark stepped between them. This isn't the show. The show is honesty. Kelly moved past him. The show has always been honesty. Real conversations, actual moments. When someone comes on my stage and gives me nothing, no real answers, no real moments, no real self, I'm going to notice. I've been doing this too long not to. Meghan moved toward the exit. You'll regret how you treated me. I'll regret asking about your children? I'll regret asking what your foundation does? Those are the questions I ask every guest. The treatment you're describing is simply someone who expected real answers instead of prepared statements. Meghan paused at the edge of the stage. Everyone attacks me. Kelly shook her head slowly. Everyone asks you questions, questions you can't or won't answer. The attack you experience is simply accountability, the kind every public figure faces when they make public claims. You claim to be an advocate. What's your advocacy produced? You claim to be a devoted mother. What are your children actually like? You claim to want privacy. Why do you keep doing interviews? To share my perspective. Your perspective that consists entirely of grievance? I've watched your media appearances. Everyone is about what was done to you, what you suffered, what you escaped. Never what you've built, never what you've contributed, never what you've given. I've given plenty. Name it, right now. One thing you've given that exists independent of your celebrity. One contribution that would matter if nobody knew your name. Silence. That's the answer. When everything depends on celebrity, nothing depends on substance. And when substance is absent, grievance fills the space. Meghan left. The studio door closed behind her. Kelly and Mark stood in the sudden quiet. The audience was frozen. Well, Mark said finally, that was something. Kelly took a breath. I want to explain what just happened. She turned to face the camera. In 23 years of doing this show, I've asked thousands of guests about their lives, their families, their work. Almost all of them could answer, had real moments to share, had genuine humanity to offer. She paused. What I experienced just now was different. Every question about her children got deflection. Every question about her work got generalities. Every attempt at genuine connection got walls. And when I noticed the walls, when I pointed them out, she left. Mark nodded slowly. I tried to ease things. I know, and normally I'd follow your lead. But in 23 years, I've learned to recognize when someone's performing versus when someone's present. She wasn't present. She was managed. And managed doesn't work on this couch. Here's what I've learned doing this, Kelly continued. Real people love talking about their kids. The embarrassing stories, the annoying obsessions, the specific moments that make them, them. She couldn't access any of that. That's not privacy. That's disconnection. She looked at the camera. Real advocates love talking about their impact, the person they helped, the policy they changed, the specific outcome they achieved. She couldn't name anything. That's not humility. That's absence. Mark added, we've had guests in terrible situations share more than she did. Exactly. Guests going through public divorces who could still laugh about their kids. Guests with dying parents who could still access joy. What we saw today wasn't someone protecting privacy. It was someone with nothing underneath to protect. Kelly straightened her dress. When we come back, we'll have someone who can actually have a conversation. Because that's what this show is. Real conversations with real people. What just happened was neither. The footage aired that morning. ABC made no edits. The clips that spread captured the morning show confrontation. Every couple that says they don't fight turns out to be either lying or in trouble. Privacy you violated repeatedly when it served your narrative. When I ask about your kids, you give me categories. every question hits a wall. When everything depends on celebrity, nothing depends on substance. She wasn't present. She was managed. Meghan's team released a statement calling the appearance a departure from the show's traditionally welcoming format, designed to generate controversy rather than conversation. Kelly addressed it the following morning. Welcoming? We offered coffee. We asked about her kids. We asked about her marriage. We asked what her foundation does. Those are welcoming questions. They invite sharing. She shared nothing. The controversy she's describing is simply someone who expected answers when questions were asked. Mark added, "We've done this show together for years. We've never seen anything like that, and we've had some difficult guests." Kelly nodded. Difficult usually means nervous or going through something. This was different. This was someone who'd forgotten how to be real, or never knew how in the first place. For Kelly Ripa, the interview became another demonstration of the instincts that had kept her on morning television for over 2 decades. The ability to recognize when someone was performing rather than present, and the willingness to name it. For Meghan Markle, it was devastating in a particular way. This wasn't political commentary or tabloid journalism. This was Live with Kelly and Mark, the friendliest show on daytime television. Being unable to connect with Kelly Ripa suggested something beyond media training could address. But for the millions who watched, something else emerged. The contrast between Kelly and Mark, real married couple, real parents, real people sharing real moments, and Meghan's walls, told its own story. Kelly had asked about her kids. Meghan offered categories. Kelly had asked about her marriage. Meghan offered diplomacy. Kelly had asked about impact. Meghan provided nothing. And in that nothing, in that complete absence of genuine humanity when humanity was invited, everything anyone needed to know about the gap between Meghan Markle's performance and Meghan Markle's reality became impossible to ignore. Some people light up when given space to be real. Others reveal they've forgotten how. Kelly offered the space. Meghan couldn't fill it. 23 years of morning television, the friendliest show in daytime, and she couldn't answer a single question with genuine humanity. What does that tell you about what's actually there? If you want more content that recognizes performance when it sees it, subscribe, drop a like, share this with someone. More honesty, more humanity,